It's somebody who I've been organizing with for over a decade on a multitude of issues, from immigrant rights to Palestine, to Syria and Iraq and beyond. This is a true sister who I'm proud to say is not only my comrade, but one of my best friends in the world. I'd love to introduce my sister, Linda Sarsour.
Good afternoon, New York City. My name is Linda and I came to you today from Brooklyn, New York, where I was born and raised. And as a person from Brooklyn, I'm here to do some real talk with my fellow New Yorkers. 4 years, sisters and brothers, we have watched Syria burn. 4 years. We have sat back, all of us, me included, and allowed one of the most beautiful countries in this world, one of the most beautiful, hospitable people in this world, wither away, leave their homes. Syrian refugees don't have to come to the United States. They shouldn't have to want to go to Europe. They shouldn't have to take their kids on boats. They should not have to do that, and they don't want to do that. If they had a choice, they would stay in the beautiful country that they were born and came from. We stand here and ask about humanity. Where was our humanity 4 years ago? It took a dead baby on a seashore for us to stand up and say, we welcome refugees. This goes for every humanitarian crisis in this world. We made excuses for Syria. We said it's complicated.
No, it's not.
People wanting a democracy, sisters and brothers, is not complicated. If we're going to support freedom across the world, why did we stop with Syria? I'm up here, sisters and brothers, and many of you know me very well. I don't have a loss for words, but I am in a loss when it comes to Syria. I am proud to say that I have stood up to people in my own community, Palestinians, and I was on the right side from day one, because the problem here, sisters and brothers, from day one was the dictator Bashar al-Assad. When people go to the point of risking their lives and the lives of their children, we shouldn't be asking whether we welcome these people into our country. We should be demanding for the U.S. government, one of the world's superpowers. We have enough resources in this country, not only to help our own here, the homeless on our streets, but also to welcome in at least 100,000 Syrian refugees. Sisters and brothers, I call on you, each and every one of you, to use your power here in our democracy, or what we heard about as a democracy. Sometimes, sisters and brothers, I'm not even sure anymore. Use your voice and your power to call on the U.S. government and to say, as an American, this is our country. And in our country, we welcome immigrants, we welcome refugees, we welcome people who need us to support them and give them livelihood. Because, sisters and brothers, what's happening on the other side of the world is your taxpayer dollars. Yes. Yesterday, we commemorated 9/11, 14 years, sisters and brothers, since 9/11. We talk about the over 3,000 Americans who fell on that day. Brothers and sisters and children of people, of Americans here, including Muslim Americans. Nobody wanted to talk about the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Muslims across the world who were killed because of 9/11 on our taxpayer dollars. I call on you not to wait for dead babies in Palestine, dead Kurds on seashores, Syrians starving. Winter is coming, sisters and brothers, no shelters for these people. Syria has always welcomed refugees. As a Palestinian, I can tell you the number of Palestinians who have been embraced and loved by Syria and the Syrian people. As an American, we need to demand that our government show hospitality to these people, because of allowing someone like Bashar al-Assad to continue to reign in Syria, we too are complicit in the Syrian refugee crisis and the murders and executions that have happened in Syria. Sisters and brothers, your taxpayer dollars, this is our money, and we need to be able to tell the U.S. government how to use our money. I would rather use my money to shelter a Syrian family than to kill an Iraqi family. I'd rather use my taxpayer dollars to school children and give people jobs than to wage war on the other side of the world. Sisters and brothers, do not allow anyone to tell you what's happening in Syria is complicated. Do not allow anybody to tell you the conspiracy theories that are what they call Syria. Sisters and brothers, ISIS didn't wake up one morning and say, I want to be ISIS. This is not a fabricated group that just woke up one morning and just existed in this world. Our wars, the instability that we created in the other side of the world created ISIS. We are complicit in the very people that we want to fight right now across the world. And when I say we, I mean me too. My daughter is here with me, sisters and brothers. She's 11 years old in 6th grade. And when I watch these children who have no hope in this world, children who ask, why do you have to put me on a boat and take me away from my home? Imagine, sisters and brothers, this was you and your family. Someone said you do not take your children to sea if it wasn't safer than the land. But we also have to remember, sisters and brothers, that our country is not friendly to refugees. We are not friendly to immigrants. We still, as a country, have not passed comprehensive immigration reform in this country that is made of immigrants and built by immigrants. Some who chose to come here, and others that we forced to come here 450 years ago. So while we ask our government to welcome Syrian refugees, and that we as Americans are demanding that, we need you in the fight to pass comprehensive immigration reform, because no one and no human being is illegal. We have people right now vying to be your president of the United States of America. I want a president that respects every single human being that lives in this country. I want a presidential candidate who's going to stand up and say, we welcome refugees here with open arms. We will support refugees until they get off their feet and become contributing members to our economy and to our society. I want a presidential candidate who is anti-war and pro-diplomacy and pro-democracy across the world. I want a presidential candidate that says immigrants are a vital part of who we are as a nation. I want a presidential candidate who, with no shame, stands up with pride and says, in this country, Black Lives Matter. If that's not the kind of president you want in this country, then we all have to reevaluate who we are as Americans. Right now, today, our Syrian sisters and brothers, Kurdish sisters and brothers, they need us, sisters and brothers, and we have the resources. We ain't going back into your pocket. There's plenty of resources out there, and we need to demand that our allocations and our resources that we gave our government are used for the right reasons. So I count on you and your families and your friends and your supporters to call on the U.S. government to welcome refugees, because in New York City, we welcome everyone to New York City, because this is our